Alright, kind of crooked, but what's up you guys? Good morning. The time, it's currently a little before 7 a.m. It's freezing outside. I don't know if you can hear, I have my heater on and everything in my apartment. It's officially that time of year. We are actually on our way to go do cardio session number 1 of the morning. This is when I usually go, hit about 25 minutes. I have 45 minutes every single day, so it's just kind of like easier for me to do 25 in the morning and then 20 later. I gotta be a little bit quiet right now because Maddie is actually still kind of sleeping. She hasn't been feeling too good and pretty stressed out with all that she's got going on in her life right now. So I'm letting her sleep in a little bit while I go out into the cold tundra and do my cardio. Despite being a little bit sleepy right now, I don't know if you can tell, but I actually have way more energy than in the last video. So I'm going to kind of talk about that. I'm going to talk about my weekend too. Because I ate 800 grams carbs in one day. So I'm gonna tell you about that whole thing because that was pretty nuts. But yeah, this is gonna be a cool video. Guys, we are 11 days out from the show. It's so crazy. Yesterday, when we were 12 days out, I actually made a post on Facebook and I said, we're 12 weeks out, guys. And it was because I'm so used to saying weeks instead of days. But now that we're so close, I feel it's pretty appropriate to start saying days now. Cannot wait. But first, let's nail down this cardio. Honestly, the hardest part of doing cardio in the morning is just committing to going. I literally can't have that second thought about it. I literally just have to get up, walk to my apartment gym, and get going. Because if I think about it too much, then I'll be tempted to not do it. Now, of course, I have a no tolerance policy. I will always get done what needs to get done, but that little hesitation just doesn't really help the process. And when I'm on the treadmill or the Stairmaster or the elliptical, whatever cardio I'm doing that day, it's kind of boring sometimes. You kind of don't feel the best, especially when you're less than 2 weeks out, but work's gotta get done. Then you get to enjoy beautiful morning sunrises. Okay, fast forward a few hours. It is now
1 o'clock.
It's now 9:30, guys. It's 9:30. We're gonna eat breakfast. I haven't really talked too much about this other than on Instagram, but last week was like I call it like my hell week, you know, Navy SEALs hell week, because I was digging the hardest I'd ever been digging this entire prep, and I was already digging very hard. I'm gonna explain here in a second. I'm gonna show you how many calories I was actually eating and digging at, why I was doing it, the side effects of doing what I was trying to do, but also where I'm at now. So I have increased my calories a little bit. That being said, I'm still very low, to be honest, which, like I said, I'm gonna explain in a bit. But the good news is I actually have a little bit of freedom when it comes to my diet now, because before I had to be super strict with volume, and it was insane, guys. I mean,
It was insane.
It was insane. I'm gonna show you guys in a second. I'm gonna get the whiteboard out. I'm gonna explain everything. Basically tell you, I think the side effects, that's the best word I can explain. The side effects of digging as hard as I was digging. I don't know exactly what my body fat percentage is right now. I hope it's around 7%. Maybe I'll show you a physique update here in a second too. But I don't want to get too caught up on the body fat percentages because everyone looks different at certain body fat percentages. You know, you could have a guy that is 10% body fat, but maybe he stores most of his fat in his legs and his butt and things like that, so that his abs are just totally diced, even though he's 10% body fat. Then you have me, where I hold a lot of it kind of on my hips, my back, and things like that. So I don't know, it just kind of depends. You don't really know what your body fat percentage is. I do think I'm around 7. I don't think I'm 6. I might be 8. I don't know.
I think you're 7. I think you're a true 7.
Maddie says I'm 7. Thanks, babe.
You're welcome.
I hope I'm 7. So that being said, I mean, there are like side effects that come with being this lean and eating this little calories to get to this point. So we're gonna go into detail about those two. Here's my breakfast though.
It smells really good.
It's not actually completely done yet, but this is zucchini with like just deli ham, and I'm gonna add some eggs and egg whites to it, and then I'm gonna put it on this high fiber wrap, which is only like 13 carbs, and that's gonna be my breakfast, at least breakfast part 1. Yeah. All right, guys, so this is my current physique update right now. I'm definitely like sharpest in the mornings, but I'm also flattest in the mornings. So this is where I'm at right now. I mean, skin's pretty thin. Could be leaner. You know, I'm not like 5% body fat or anything. But comment down below what you think my body fat percentage is. I'm curious to get some responses. Once again, not that it matters that much. I mean, at the end of the day, it's whatever the judges say and whatever the judges like. The judges, they don't know your body fat percentage when you're on stage, so. But I don't know, it's fun to guess, fun to mess around with in conversation, things like that. All right, what's up, you guys? So I actually just finished up at the gym, had a little snack, and now we're gonna finish off this video with some pretty interesting stuff here. We're gonna talk about my digging phase, which I think is gonna surprise a lot of you. Also, we're gonna talk about my current plan as I am 11 days out from the show. And I'm gonna mention my 800 carb day to kind of explain what went down that day. So let's get straight to it. So basically my maintenance information you should know before we get into this. My maintenance is roughly 2,600. It might be 2,750, but just playing it safe, especially with adaptations that come from being in a deficit for so long. We're gonna go ahead and say 2,600. And I've even been playing it safer on my refeed days where I'll only do 2,500. So yeah, it's somewhere in that range. And maintenance it's always changing, but basically your maintenance calories, if you don't know, it's how many calories you can eat every single day, doing the activity that you're doing and just living your normal life without gaining any weight or losing any weight. You'll stay the same, you'll maintain. Also, you should know my basal metabolic rate is roughly 1750, which basically is the amount of calories that you will burn if you were in a coma. So if you are in a coma, laying in bed, doing nothing, basically dead except not, that's your BMR. So if I was in a coma, I would burn 1,750 calories roughly. So knowing that, it's gonna shock you when I get into these dig numbers. But what is a dig? So, I mean, clearly you're dieting the entire prep, right? So you're continuously just lowering your calories, putting yourself in a really good deficit so you can get lean enough for the show. Now, the term dig, it's kind of like, it's made up, right? There's no such calories as like digging calories. It's all kind of arbitrary. So when I talk about the dig, I'm really just talking about a space of time in the prep where you're like really going extra hard, where you're literally digging for that final body fat to come off and reveal a very lean, chiseled, and conditioned physique for stage. So mistakes that people make when they're trying to dig is they do it at the last second. They'll wait till 2 weeks out, 1 week out, and by then, I'm just gonna tell you right now, it's too late. If you're gonna try to dig and make something magical happen those last few weeks, it's too late, bud, sorry, maybe next show. But yeah, so I knew that going into this. I know that fat loss takes time, right? Especially for myself. There's some guys out there that might be able to pull off little miracles. I'm not special. That's not me. I have to do it the old-fashioned way, AKA dig really hard. So what I did is I started my dig phase at 7 weeks out, knowing that I had a lot to lose. And okay, memory card ran out of space. That was really awesome. So yeah, basically digging is just that point in the prep when you are just going super hard, harder than usual. So before I started my dig, I was at about 1,700 calories, which it's already under my BMR. So that is already considered quite extreme, and I decided to push it harder, so I dropped to 1,500. And then when I was at 1,500, I'm like, you know what, if I'm gonna go this hard, I might as well go even harder, right? So then I dropped it to 1,200, and I was kind of flip-flopping between 1,200 and 1,500. I do roughly like 3 1,200 days a week, and then kind of go back up to 1,500 so I didn't completely die. And it's funny because while I was at 1,200, I looked forward to those 1,500 calorie days, and it's just funny because it's 1,500 calories, like that's literally so low. But those were my like higher days. So yeah, basically I was at 1,200 and 1,500 calories for the past 5 weeks. Now, what was that like? It was awful. It was very terrible actually. And I had people, you know, messaging me saying like, that's really unhealthy, you shouldn't be doing that. Like, I know, trust me, I know I do not recommend this. If you are trying to lose weight, don't do this, by the way. This is saved for special circumstances, like show prep when you are digging. And I do trust myself, you know, I'm not an idiot. Like, I have my degree in exercise physiology. My wife has her degree in exercise physiology. We're certified personal trainers. We've been training for 5 years. I got Anthony backing me up too. Like, we have professionals around us, and us ourselves are professionals. So it's not like we're just idiots just like starving ourselves, right? It's kind of controlled chaos. So I was at 1200 and 1500, and yeah, it was really rough. So I want to talk about the side effects of eating 1200 calories and just give you, just let you know what it was really like. Because if you watched my last video, I was literally dead. I was a zombie in that video, and I wasn't acting, I wasn't being dramatic. Like, that's just what it actually was. So side effects, extreme fatigue. Now, I'm not talking about what everyone else experiences when they're on prep and they're tired. That's how I felt when I was on 1700 calories, 1800 calories, 1900 calories. You feel tired, you feel fatigued. This is beyond that. Okay, so when someone else is like, yeah, you know, I'm at 2000 calories and yeah, it's really tiring. I'm just like, man, you don't know. Like, I'm eating over 500 calories under my BMR. Like, that's literally like a 1500 calorie deficit every single day. And it's not like I'm eating 1200 calories and then sitting on the couch. I'm eating 1200 calories, working out really hard, walking 5.5 miles worth of steps, comes out to 12,000 steps a day, not including at all 45 minutes every single day on top of that all. So I am not sitting on the couch doing nothing, okay? This was rough. This was a dark period of my life that I've been out of now for just a few days, so it's been really nice. Awful workouts. Like, it's easy from the outside to be like, oh, you're just not motivated enough, you know? You gotta hit every workout hard, blah, blah, blah. Like, save it. Unless you've done this, you don't know what it's like to try to have a good workout on 1200 calories. And it's not just I ate 1200 calories for one day, it's I dieted for months and then I started digging super hard and did that for 5 weeks. So it adds up. Awful sleep. This is something that you don't experience too much, that bodybuilders talk about. And those who have to push really hard, they know what I'm talking about, but your sleep gets disrupted. You would think that you just become more tired because you're so fatigued, but it's different. Like, your body is so disrupted and under so much immense stress that your sleep just turns to crap. So my experience is I just couldn't fall asleep. I had several nights in a row. I would be laying in bed for like 2-3 hours staring at the ceiling, just waiting to finally fall asleep. Then when I would fall asleep, I would wake up like 10 times, and I'd wake up at 2 a.m. and stare at the ceiling for an hour and not be able to fall back asleep. It was terrible. It messes with your head in such a different way that people don't usually talk about. But it's not like, what makes this prep so hard is it's not like, oh, I'm hungry. Like, hunger is the easy part. And that's something I've been saying a lot. Like, being hungry, guys, that's the easiest freaking part. You know what's hard is not being able to sleep for a few days. Like, that messes with your head. And what I'm going to talk about too is like being a shell of who you once were. Like, I'm a very energetic, passionate guy, and this prep has just stripped that from me. And I've had moments where I'm just like you feel depressed. You are not you. And it strips away your personality. It totally sucks. So those mind and mental aspects of the prep is what's actually hard, not just the hunger. Something I want to talk about too is literally hair loss. I thought about not bringing this up, but I'm under so much stress that I'm noticing a lot of hair loss happening in the past few weeks. Now, I would be more worried, but I do suspect that this will kind of like leave after I start eating again. So I'm not that worried. The way I think about it is like how like the president of the United States and whatever, like you can see over the 4 years that they're in office where like their hair gets thinner or it grays a lot. And it's just because they're under so much stress. Not trying to compare myself to the president of the United States, but the amount of stress I'm putting my body through, it's literally like making me shed my hair. It's insane. So kind of sucks. Also, no focus. I will sit there and just daze off into space, not being able to put together a coherent sentence. That sounds super dramatic, but it's real. And yeah, like I said, just being a shell of who I really am. So all those aspects just made the digging suck. So you're probably asking, why did I do that? And simple answer is that's what it takes. I do not have you know, supreme genetics when it comes to fat loss. There's guys on the internet, I think like Christian Guzman's a perfect example, where he can get really shredded and he's on like 2,400 calories. He's like, I don't know, 10, 12 pounds heavier than me on stage. 1 to 2 inches taller than me. So it's not like he's that much bigger of a person, but he just has really great fat loss genetics. And so he literally ends his prep on higher calories than I started my prep. So yeah, it sucks, but you got to do what you got to do. And I wanted to go all in with this. You know, I didn't want to just go halfway. I wanted to like go all in, and this is what it takes. So that's why I did it. Now, what's my current plan? So now I'm 11 days out. My current plan is not to keep digging because these side effects were just not worth it at the point. I'm not trying to just like barely like crawl on stage, like barely surviving, and I just show up and like just look awful. I want to be strong and confident, energetic on stage. So part of that is starting to increase my calories. So I'm back up to 1,700, which is why I'm so talkative and normal right now. I feel great. I'm having way more calories every single day. It's funny though, because that's still under my BMR. So technically I'm still like extreme dieting right now. But I will be increasing it over the next 11 days or so. And I'm gonna stay in a deficit, but I'm going to relieve a lot of that stress off my body. And I'm gonna taper off the intensity too. So the workout intensity, cardio intensity, steps, all those things are gonna taper off so I can be fully recovered. And now what I wanna talk about is peak week. I'm not gonna go into my whole peak week plan, but last weekend I had 800 carbs in one day. I actually ate 4,000 calories that day. That's more calories than I've had in like 6 months or something crazy like that. And so the reason I did that was literally just to see how my body would react. I'm trying to get an idea of how to set up my peak week. The one thing I don't want to do is show up on stage extremely flat and depleted like I clearly am when I'm eating 1,200 calories. So I tested it out, and honestly, it went really well. I definitely filled out a lot. What I want to be careful about is not spilling over or anything. But altogether, I woke up the next day, even the following day or two, just so much more full. The pumps were amazing, very easy to get. I literally grew so much just from actually feeding my body carbs. And just having that amount of calories just did my body so good. So I'm honestly still kind of like seeing the benefits from that. I feel like the fat loss is really easy right now. I look better than I've ever looked, and it's because I was able to feed my body, test out a peak week protocol, and kind of go from there. So yeah, basically that's what's been going on, guys. What I wanted to show is what I've had to do to get to roughly 7% body fat. Now, I could have taken a slower approach to this. If I didn't have a show and a deadline, I could have taken my time. I could have spent, you know, another 3 months just slowly going, not even have to dig like this, but because I have a show, clearly I have a deadline. But I just wanted to show that being lean isn't all that, you know. Sure, I look great right now. I've looked the best I've ever looked, but what I've had to do to get there and the side effects I've experienced, it just makes it not really that worth it to me. I had no intentions of trying to maintain a 7% body fat percentage after the show. I would like to be leaner than usual, but what I'm trying to get at is it's okay to not be 7% body fat year round, and you really just don't even want to. Most guys anyway. There's always going to be those freaks out there, you know, you can't do anything about that. But the side effects it's not worth it. The lifestyle you got to live, it's not worth it. It's nothing special being 7% body fat. I'm excited to put on 5-10 pounds of fat. It's gonna feel great. I'm gonna be more athletic, have more energy, actually get to be myself. For Maddie, for my friends, just for me too. I'm gonna be able to focus on things better, and for that, I literally can't wait. Anyway, guys, getting along here, but I wanted to thank you for watching this video and for following along this journey. It's been insane. Show can't come any faster though. I'm so excited, and I'm gonna try to post a few more videos before the actual show day video. So anyway, if you would, go down below, give this video a like. We'll see you in the next video. Peace out.